Good morning. So, welcome to Mornings with Murli Club. So, today we will be reading the Murli of 20th May 1974. It's a beautiful Murli where Baba has asked us to see our stage, what kind of stage we are in, what things attract us. Are we actually into the Vanprasth Avastha? And he eventually elaborates on three aspects, that is relationships, connections, and love with the one. So he asks us to check how are we into these three areas. So there are also three, four very unique statements which Baba has asked us to reflect on into this Murli. So let us start. So the title of the Murli is Only the Children Who Are Seated on Baba's Heart Throne Are the Fortunate Ones. Only the children who are seated on Baba's heart throne are the fortunate ones. What is Bab Dada seeing today? Today, he is seeing the rosary of the children who are multi-million times fortunate and have the fortune of happiness. Uh, it's 23rd of May 1974. I read the wrong title. Only those who remain beyond limited attractions are personalities and true Vaishnavs. So Baba asks us the question, are you able to stabilize yourself in the stage of retirement and go beyond sound in a second? So stage of retirement means Vanprastha Avastha. So just as you easily come into sound, are you also to go beyond sound just as easily? No matter what the situations are, what the circumstances are, or what the storms of the elements are like. Whilst all these are taking place, whilst seeing them, hearing about them, and experiencing them, are you able to remain unshakable, constant, and peaceful internally to the same extent in those external storms? So Baba is asking us to check, no matter what the situations, circumstances, storms are we able to remain unshakable, constant, and peaceful internally to the same extent in these external storms? Then he says, it is not a big thing to remain peaceful in a peaceful atmosphere, but to remain peaceful in an atmosphere of peacelessness is known as being an embodiment of knowledge, an embodiment of power, an embodiment of remembrance, and an embodiment of all virtues. So, four things we become embodiment of if we are able to remain peaceful in an atmosphere of peacelessness. That is embodiment of knowledge, power, virtues, and remembrance. Even though there may be various reasons, you should be an embodiment of solutions. This is called the visible, practical form of effort. Have you become such Mahavirs or have you just become veers, that is warriors? What stage have you reached? Can you see the stage of a Maharati in front of you or close to you, or can you see the yourself as being equal to the father? So there are three words in Hindi which Baba used, that is Saman, Samip or Samne. Saman means becoming equal, Samip means becoming like accompanying, and Samne means in front. So which stage do you see yourself? In being equal to the father, there are three number-wise stages. One is to be equal, next is to be close, and the third stage is to be in front of. Where have you reached? The sign of those who are equal is that they are able to do whatever they want, however, and however they want in a second. The second stage is of being able to set themselves in a few seconds instead of just 1 second. The third stage is being able to set themselves in a few hours or a few days. So, what are the three stages? The ones who are equal, they are able to do whatever they want, whenever and however they want, in a second. Second stage is few seconds, and third stage is few hours and days. Those who are equal to the Father, who are constantly equal to the Father, know and accept the importance of the self, the importance of all the powers of the self, the number-wise stages of all the effort makers, and the importance of the donation of virtues, the donations of the wealth of knowledge and of one's own time. They are embodiments of knowledge who know their own actions, their sanskars, and their nature. Have you become such embodiments of knowledge? Hmm? So, out of these three stages, if we are of the first stage, that is equal to the Father, Baba is asking us, are you embodiment of knowledge? And if we are embodiment of knowledge, what are the 4, 5 characteristics? First one is know and acceptance, accept the importance of the self. Second is the importance of all the powers of the self. Third is the number wise stage of all the effort makers and the importance of the donation of virtues. Fourth, fifth one is the donation of wealth of knowledge and of one's own time. They are embodiment of knowledge who know their own actions, their sanskars, and their nature. You have the desire and interest to listen to and relate knowledge and also create chances, but you have an equal desire and do you create as many chances of stabilizing yourself beyond sound to the same extent? Let us read this question again. It's a big question. You have the desire and interest to listen to and relate knowledge and also create chances, but do you have an equal desire and do you create as many chances of stabilizing yourself beyond sound to the same extent? Hmm? So it's a tricky question, but very, very deep. So what Baba is telling us ki we do have interest to listen knowledge, relate to the knowledge, that is, and also to do give knowledge, probably give do seva. Because we have desire and interest, we show so much of eagerness and willingness to do such things. But do we have the same eagerness and willingness in stabilizing ourselves to go beyond sound? Hmm? Are we able to have same? So while I was reading this earlier, the last night, I just checked for myself, okay, the extent of happiness I have for service, to do, give knowledge or to speak Baba's knowledge, Gyan, the same interest I have for myself in doing Sukshma Purusharth. Over here, Baba is asking us to go beyond sound. And he's telling us to have that the same eagerness. Does the desire emerge within you automatically, or does it emerge according to the time, according to the problems, or according to the programs that are made? Hmm. So three things triggers, that is the problem. Sometimes because of problems, we feel, let go of these things now. Let me go beyond sound because nothing will happen. Or sometimes we have this bhattis where we practice go beyond sound as per the programs. Or according to the time. If we are restless, if we get, you know, too much of work, and later we feel, okay, let's go beyond sound. We are tired now. Let's withdraw ourselves. So these three circumstances makes us do this, or Baba says this desire emerge into you automatically without these three things happening. Hmm? So very subtle things Baba is asking us. Let me just quickly read this again. You have the desire and interest to listen to and relate knowledge and also create chances, but do you have an equal desire, and do you create as many chances of stabilizing yourself beyond sound to the same extent? Does this desire emerge within you automatically, or does it emerge according to the time, according to the problems, or according to the programs that are made? What would be the first sign of those who have reached the first stage? Because of being as absorbed in the experience of this stage, even the thoughts of such souls will not be touched by any personality or by any attractions of limited attainments. Hmm. So Baba is asking us, if we reach this first stage, then even the thoughts of such souls will not be touched by any personality or by any attractions of limited attainments. Such people हद की प्राप्ति और हद के आकर्षण आकर्षित नहीं करेंगे. We will not get, you know, dragged by all those things. If the attraction of any limited attainment tries to have the courage to touch even the thoughts, what would you call that? Would such a soul be called a Vaishnav? Baba is now the title which we just read, Vaishnav. Those who today are Vaishnavas in the name observe many precautions. They do not allow themselves to be even touched by certain types of people or things. If, due to some reason, they are touched by those things, they consider it as a sin. You are the true Vaishnavas whose activity is according to your name, and those who become embodiments of whatever thoughts you have. Can anyone have the courage even to touch such Vaishnavas? Okay, so Vaishnavas in physical sense, they are very particular that no untouchables can touch them, or they don't touch anything impure or go to such places where it's forbidden for Vaishnavas. So very peculiar some especially in the villages, they are aware of their title and position, so they won't indulge into such activities. Otherwise, it is considered as a sin. So similarly, Baba is telling that true Vaishnavas you are, and we just can't allow. So Baba is telling, asking us to go into a subtle form rather than physical things. And according to your name, and those of you become embodiments of whatever thoughts you are, can anyone have the courage to touch such Vaishnavas? If you are touched by them, then small sins are committed. Such subtle sins become instrument in preventing you souls from reaching your elevated stage. Because sins means a burden. It does not allow you to become an angel. It does not allow you to stabilize in the seed stage or in the stage beyond sound. Nowadays, the majority who call themselves Maharathis put forward this complaint. Baba is now going to a separate topic. So, the ones who call themselves as Maharathis put forward this complaint or ask questions in their heart to heart conversations at Amrit Vela. Why am I not able to experience the powerful stage that I should? Why does this stage only remain for a short time? The reason for this matter, which becomes, which does not allow you to become equal to the Father, is subtle sin. So again, if we are also into the same queue where we are not able to experience powerful stage, or we are able to remain in that stage for very short time, the answer Baba has is that we commit such small sins. And what was the small sins? Earlier, which Baba mentioned that while being embodiment of four embodiments he referred at the beginning, and the embodiment of knowledge he elaborated. So while being embodiment of those things, there are some such other things which touches us, which we go into attraction of. And those small sins cause us not to have constant powerful stage. Deeds performed under the influence of the five vices are said to be sinful deeds or sin. They are a gross form of sin. In the same way, the five elements also attract the deep and subtle effort makers, the Maharathis, to themselves and become instrumental in making them commit subtle sins. It is easy to understand and conquer the five vices, but to remain beyond the attraction of the five elements takes special efforts for the Maharathis. What is Baba telling? It is easy to understand and conquer the five vices, but to remain beyond the attraction of the five elements takes special effort for the Maharathis. Only when you know these 10 things and gain victory over them will you be able to celebrate the true Dashera, that is the burning of 10-headed Ravana. The 10th day of victory, that is Vijay Lakshmi, is the memorial of this stage. The Maharathis should be checking themselves in a subtle way. The who also the eight jewels will also be revealed as such victorious jewels. Little mistakes are visible practically. What is visible in those who are deep and subtle effort makers? Nowadays,
What is the royal signal? Sorry, what is the royal slogan of the royal effort makers? Who would be called as a royal effort maker? The word royal is used for someone who wants royalty or every facility easily. Those who make efforts on the basis of the facilities provided or on the basis of attainment are called royal effort makers. Royalty also has another meaning. Those who are royal effort makers at present will have to pay royalties even in the land of Dharmaraj. What is the sign of a royal effort maker through which you can tell whether you are a royal effort maker or not? Others do not have to know this. You yourself have to know this, just as those with physical royalty adopt many forms. In the same way, royal effort makers adopt many forms and are very clear and are very clever. They will adopt a form according to the time. However, in their royalty, there will not be any reality. There will be a mixture. They will not be able to fix, that is, stabilize themselves in a constant stage. What games do such royal effort makers play? They go up and down. One minute their stage will be very elevated, and the next minute their stage will be the lowest. In the stage of ascent, they will have a part of a hero, and in the stage of descent, they will also be a hero in becoming zero. What is the activity of such effort makers? They themselves remain under the influence of the elements and the vices. They become fearless forms of Maya for a temporary period and speak of fearful things to others. What is their slogan? I will do this, I will do that. They say this in a threatening way. They consider it their duty to have activity and words which instill fear. Never become such royal effort makers. Never go into the company of such royal effort makers. They have received from Maya in the form of a blessing the speciality of influencing and bringing into their company those souls who are under the influence of Maya and souls who are effort making souls. Hmm? What is the bad part about the royal effort makers? I'll just read this again. Why should we not go to the company of those effort makers? Because they have received from Maya in the form of a blessing the speciality of influencing and bringing into their company those souls who are under the influence of Maya and souls who are effort making souls. Consider such company to be the worst bog, which is very beautiful externally, but which destroys everything internally. This is why at present time Baptata is warning you children of the royal form of Maya in advance. Remain constantly cautious of such company and be clever in front of it. Maya is also at the present time engaged in creating a rosary of such royal effort makers. She is looking for her beads very carefully and at a fast speed. Therefore, do not become a bead of Maya's rosary. If you come under the influence of such bead of Maya, you will be left aside from becoming a bead of the rosary of victory. Now, the selection of both rosaries is being carried out at a great speed. One is of Maya, and the other one is the rosary of victory of the Father. As such a time, you need to pay all round attention at every second. Do you understand? And so Baba is asking us to choose which rosary would we like to go, and he has explained what is the rosary of Maya. That is, how does the vices in the form of royal effort makers come to us, and also how do we indulge ourselves into the companies of those royal effort makers. So here is what where Baba ends the Murli. He gives us the Yad Pyar by summarizing the entire Murli to such constant and true effort makers, to those who remain honest with the true Father, to those who remain constantly distinct from the attraction of the five vices and the five elements, to those who easily stabilize themselves into the stage beyond sound, to the victorious beads of the rosary of victory, to those who remain constantly in the company of the Father, to those who remain in the company of the truth and will remain detached from wasteful company, to the lovely children of such a Father, Bab Dada's love, remembrance, good morning, and namaste. Good morning and namaste to the spiritual father from the spiritual children. So let us pause for a minute and quickly reflect, what does this Murli bring to us?
Okay, Om Shanti, we can now start sharing our churnings. So let me start with mine. Uh, so again, this is a very common point, but I was just reflecting on this, where Baba says it is not a big thing to remain peaceful in a peaceful atmosphere, but to remain peaceful in an atmosphere of peacelessness is known as being an embodiment of knowledge, power, remembrance, and virtues. So I was just thinking that, like for example, yesterday we had this peace walk and couple of events at this local center, and everything went very well. But while the seva was there, I was more seva conscious. Although everything became very nicely done as planned, and we were in a very peaceful stage while walking, we were happy while doing the seva. But when I checked myself, I was not embodiment of have everybody taken such things. So these things, it's important for us to, check. Or when I checked myself, it was important for me to understand that why am I getting myself out of the seat of embodiment. Hmm. So now, like while doing any seva, it's good to have a good feeling. But again, while doing anything, if we are able to maintain that embodiment, that will be the true peaceful stage, true peaceful atmosphere, which Baba probably wants us to be. So this was my reflection when I read the first page of this Murli. And that is where Baba says at the beginning, are you able to remain unshakable, constant, and peaceful internally to the same extent to those external storms? Unshakable, constant, and peaceful. Three words he has used. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti. Wonderful, Murli. There are three stages Baba has spoken about. One is the equal stage. Second is the close to Baba, and the third stage is front in front. So I think the first stage is what Baba is expecting us to be in, where we are merged in the Baba's remembrance. As Bhaiji, you said during Seva also, one should remain the embodiment of knowledge that who am I and who is mine. Om Shanti.
Yeah, while reflecting on that point, I could just visualize a scene that, for example, if we go into a temple, so for example, there is a statue of Sri Ram and Sita. There would be another statue just close to them who is Hanuman, and we are in front of them. So there are three things. One is just becoming the statue themselves. One is just being beside the statue, like Hanuman or anyone for that matter, which is not equal but very close. But still, there is someone who is greater when we see both of them. And the third one is the bhakt, the devotees who are in front, who are like, oh wow, the ones who are in front are so great. So I was just checking that sometimes we admire things. Oh wow, this is so nice, how well they are. But or sometimes we are very close to them, or maybe close to Baba. But what Baba wants us to just become embodiment. That is why he used these three beautiful words. The Murli in Hindi, Baba generally plays with the words Saman, Samip, or Samne.
Nice example you have given, Raju. Very nice. Thank you, Bob.
Om Shanti, brother.
Yes.
Yes, when Baba spoke about the first one, that is Samman, which is what Baba Dada wants, equal to him. He has listed qualities of the importance and all. But what I liked it in what he says in the next paragraph about those sukshma pap, about those things which attracts me, about those things which makes me a non-Vaishnav. For a Vaishnav, nothing touches. There is no limited attractions. Because if suppose anything attracts me, Baba says up, it is as if you're touched by sin. And then you cannot have any elevated thoughts. You will have a burden on your hand. You cannot, no angel, you cannot have a seed. And it comes back to the beginning of the Murli. You cannot go beyond sound. So I liked this non-Vaishnav. Vaishnavs have always attracted me because I often used to find what is that kind of corridor of purity they encircle themselves. What is that which they don't want others to touch them? So this Vaishnav path, this I may have to have the desire to listen, relate, but to go beyond sound, what do? I like that one medicine which Baba has given here, be a Vaishnav, otherwise Sukshma Pap.
Wonderful.
Om Shanti. So today, Baba said, some don't experience a powerful state that they wish to experience. Talked about Maharathis. Why does they feel, remain in this stage for a short time? So it's because of the subtle sin. That's what Baba says. And in order to overcome this, one must do the checking very subtly. So we, at a gross level, I think the body consciousness is what Baba is saying here. At a gross level, it's easy to find out. But when it comes to the arrogance of the body, that's where it becomes difficult. And we start making subtle mistakes, and which we don't really understand, like arrogance of the body. When it comes, then we start thinking it's I who is doing it. When I'm there, then the seva works, or they find the I and my will come forward. So this requires a lot of checking. Otherwise, we find it will be in a royal form of Maya. We find it difficult to pinpoint and correct them. Om Shanti.
Brother, I have a small clarification needed from you, or a question, whatever it is. See, Baba nicely gave us about that Vijay Dasmi, what are the 10 heads. He's saying through the vices, 5 vices. But next he's saying the 5 elements. So today it was something new for me. I always used to think that 10 vices, 5 gross vices and 5 subtle vices is what makes up a Vikramadjit, or person who has victory over it and who celebrates Vijay Dasmi. 1. And here Baba is, is giving that, what to say the word, royal effort makers. Could you clarify what is it? Because I've heard of Karmendriya Jeet, I can check. Vikarmajit, I can check. So many other Jeet, so many, they have been given medicines of MMB, like Manmana Bhava or ABCD and all. But can you say this 5 elements, that attraction or that vice, what is committed? Is it Prakriti ki Mahima, or what is that thing of the 5 vices elements, which today Baba has referred to be conquered in the 10 heads?
Good question. Anybody would like to answer that?
Om Shanti. May I, Bhaiji?
Yes, please go ahead.
Like as you spoke about the peace walk, it is during peace walk we give positive vibrations to the 5 elements. I think Baba speaks about that as we as a creator, we as a master creator, we as a donor, we need to give, we receive from Baba and give to these 5 elements one by one. And I think that is the seva which we need to do. And then only this way we can be eliminating the attractions, and we can be the master creator. We can influence the 5 elements rather than getting influenced by them. Om Shanti.
Okay. Anyone else? So, sister, like even I was reflecting on this earlier, like when we speak about this Ravana. So generally, even in during the course we mention. So there are two, three interpretations. One was like we says that 5 vikars of the male and 5 vikars of the female takes the 10-headed Ravana. Then sometimes it is that is one way when I did the course. Afterwards, when I did a little more research, I got to know that it is not just male and female just at a gross level. Male are the vikars, those who dominate, and the females are the ones who are in a subtle form. So Kam, Krodh, Lobh, Moh, Ahankar are the 5 vices, and the 5 vikars are the event which is called as Vijayadashmi. But today in Murli, Baba did not speak about the 5 सूक्ष्म elements or 5 vices. He tells 5 विकारों और 5 तत्वों की आकर्षण से सदा दूर रहने वाले. So even in English translation they have used 5 elements, and even in Hindi Murli it is 5 तत्वों. So he speaks about the 5 elements of the nature probably, because tattva means the gross nature only, because he is not speaking about the sukshma vices here. The पांच विकारो तो all of us knows, and पांच तत्व also we know, but even these पांच तत्व, uh, we have somewhere down the line some form of attractions. Baba has not elaborated in this Murli about the पांच तत्व, whether each of these पांच तत्व causes a different form of attraction to us, or it is the same. So once what we did is we tried to in the spark we actually tried to correlate the Pach Tattva with the 5 vices. Like due to the water element, air element, earth element, fire element, and the Akash, which is the polar regions. So due to the deficiency of those 5 elements, what are the uh, physical diseases which we come across, and also what are the vices or the sukshma diseases, or for example, if we don't get water for a long time, we are thirsty, so it causes some sukshma things. So one kind of research we did there as well. So again, as brother mentioned, if we give sakash to the 5 elements, or if we make sure that we are not dependent on those elements, we have victory over those 5 elements, we will be probably victorious. But I could not do very much detailed churning on this because I had limited time to read this. But this is something which we all can churn, that how does the 5 elements and 5 vices are connected, and why is it that Baba told that we have to become Prakriti Jit also, because Vikar Jit and Prakriti Jit, when we become both Jit, then only we can become the complete victorious. So Prakriti Jit would also mean something like, like for example, these days it's too much hot, and we come into body consciousness just because it is too much hot. But while whatever the external situations is, are we still able to maintain that tranquility? If we are thirsty, if we are not getting water, are we just craving for water, or are we able to maintain the same stability? If the air is polluted, again, are we just becoming? So there are these things also which we can check. But Baba explicitly never mentioned those checking points into this Murli. This is something which can come out of our journey. So both, instead of, because Baba at the beginning he told whatever the external circumstances is, are we able to maintain that peaceful stage inside? So external circumstances would also correlate to the five elements, because it is the five elements due to which we come into the external influences, apart from the internal five vikars. So five internal, five external. This is another interpretation of Pach Vikarma and Pach Tattva. But yeah, this is like, it's a big topic, and one can do more churning on this.
Brother, why I asked you the question is, a few days back, there was World Environment Day. I remember I just casually listened to it. It was very beautiful, the kind of knowledge they gave. What is my duty towards air? That the pollution part they showed over there. And it was just like, I think it was a Tata program or something about what the children, how they are going to suffer, the children of the future generations, how they are going to suffer because we, the elders, are not using the elements properly, and about water and about earth. It was beautiful to see the child holding that globe of earth and saying, my earth is sick, please take care. So, and then there they had, had some reuse, recycle, refresh, re-energize, and something like rejoice. And that time I listened to a song of Brahma Kumaris, Prakriti Ki Pukar. So I think, now the world is calling, elements are calling. So praises that. It was something very nice. And today, Baba, I don't know what a connection. He's saying that you have to become elemental. It was an eye opener for me to say, the Baba, element, and I, we all three have to live in close, something together. So maybe that was that. But I think, as you said, from our knowledge point of view, we have to deeply churn in this.
Yeah, because Baba has used one another word, ki akarshan se mukt. So we should not get into the akarshan of these five elements, that is getting attached to those. So that is another thing. Anyways, so I think we are close to the time. So let's pause here and let's do a quick meditation for 2 minutes. So as I get myself seated at the center of forehead, I remind myself that I am Baba's very special child. A peaceful soul who can exhibit the same peaceful state of mind that I have while Amrit Vela or while reading Murli throughout the day. No matter what the circumstances, situations, or storms of the elements come in front of me today, but I am able to have the same peaceful experience whilst seeing them, hearing about them, and experiencing them. whether it is at my workplace, whether it is any difficult conversation I have with my family, or any unexpected things coming up my way, I'm still stable inside. I'm peaceful because I am the child of the ocean of peace. No matter that thing comes out of a royal effort maker, five vices or five elements, I am a peaceful soul always. Om Shanti. Thank you everyone. Have a great day.